Florida State and Florida. For the second consecutive year, the Gators and the Seminoles meet in a Super Regional for a chance to get to the College World Series. Game number one of this Super Regional. Dave Neal alongside former SEC Player of the Year and three-time All-American Chris Burke. Glad you could join us from McKeithen Stadium in Gainesville, Florida. Alex Faedo, the sophomore out of Tampa, Florida, gets the ball today to take on the Seminoles. A surprising day one starter. He has been in the back end of their weekend rotation, but Chris Burke, he gets the ball today.
Yeah, he's been in the back end, but Dave, he has dominant stuff. You're going to see a fastball up to 95 miles an hour, a wipeout slider, a true swing and miss pitch. Can he control his emotions? This is an emotional kid pitching in the biggest game of his life. That's certainly something to take a look at. And the lefties. The lefties have given him trouble throughout the course of the season, so let's monitor. 3 of the first 4 hitters for Florida State are left-handed. How does he handle those left-handers? A big key in this ball game.
And facing a Seminole lineup that really has been swinging it well since the ACC tournament began. Certainly swung it well in their regional that they swept through last weekend in Tallahassee. This is the lineup that Mike Martin is sending to the plate. Taylor Walls, the shortstop, at 367. John Sansone, the third baseman. It'll be Jackson Luke, followed by Cal Raleigh, the freshman, hitting cleanup. Dylan Busby has just been dynamite. He's over at first base at 328. One of the hottest batters in this lineup. Holton and DeLuzio and Henderson round out the 9 for the Seminoles. And we are ready for some baseball. And the Florida Gators have had some great success this year against their rivals. The Gators have swept their season series 3 games to none against the Seminoles. They've actually won 5 consecutive if you go back to the Supers last year right here in Gainesville, Florida. But the Seminoles at 40-20. They've won 7 of their last 8. They had lost 6 of 7 before the run of 7 of 8. Meanwhile, the Gators, of course, putting together a marvelous campaign. They are 50-13. They have won 7 of 9. They are the #1 overall seed. And, of course, teams at home having a very tough go of it here in 2016. I don't know if you want to be the home team anymore. 1-1 count to Walls. Make it 1-2. Walls, the sophomore out of Cordele, Georgia. A first team. How about this? Second team All ACC, but a first team All American by Baseball America on an 8-game hit streak. That one is just off the plate. Faedo, 117 strikeouts on the year. He has walked just 18 guys. And that one goes a little low.
Yeah, interesting matchup here right out of the gate. A pitcher who's only walked 18 up against a hitter in Taylor Walls who has 56 base on balls. This is as patient of a club. They lead the country in on-base percentage. A very patient team is the Seminoles.
Well, the pitcher wins that battle. Faedo with strikeout number 118, out number 1.
And this is what you'll see from Walls. He will take marginal pitches in full count situations trying to draw walk, as you see this fastball run to the edge, and a pitch that's certainly a 50-50 call goes the Gators' way here right out of the gate.
John Sansone, the senior out of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, looks at strike 1. Sansone with 25 doubles, ranks 4th in the country, has 92 hits. Ranked 13th in the NCAA, a 374 hitter on the year. He's riding an 8-game hit streak, 7 for 13 in the NCAA tournament. That one misses inside. Talk about some of these numbers for Florida State this year. They're 300 batting average as a team, 34th in the country. They slug at .462. That's 25th in the NCAA. They are 5th in the country in doubles. 57 home runs, ranked 30th in the country. They average over 7.5 runs a game. That's top 15. Two down.
And there it is. There's that wipeout slider we hit in the open, Dave. A pitch, especially against right-handers. that Faedo really believes in, and you better believe that you will get that pitch late in the count if you're a right-handed hitter. Look at the depth of that slider, and the trajectory of that pitch comes out on the same plane as the fastball and has tremendous late depth. Throws it in the mid to upper 80s, and a couple quick strikeouts for Faedo.
Faedo has made 27 starts in his 2-year career at Florida. He has 19-2. Jackson Luke, the 3-hole hitter. A 9-game hit streak for him that has seen him go 17 for 34 with 3 homers and 9 runs batted in. A .408 average on the year.
And they're the first changeup of the game from Alex Faedo. Certainly the number 3 offering that he features, but a pitch that has developed throughout the course of the season and can be a weapon from time to time against left-handed hitters. Back-to-back changeups right there, showing you that he believes in that pitch. And against a red-hot Jackson Luke, you're definitely going to have to change velocities as comfortable as he has been lately.
Luke's 4 for 9 against the Gators this year with a home run. 5 for 12 in the NCAA tournament. Not bad for the freshman out of Orlando, Florida. Lifted in the air, deep to left field. Faedo, a 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts. Good start for the sophomore. Gators grabbing their bats when we come back. Always a tough ticket when it's Florida State and Florida, but it's even tougher when they're facing off with a trip to the College World Series on the line. It is a packed house here at McKeithen Stadium, and Dave Neal alongside 3-time All-American and big leaguer Chris Burke. Glad you could join us. And Berkey, we've got 2 outstanding programs led by 2 guys that certainly know how to win ball games. Mike Martin, 37 years at Florida State. You've got Kevin O'Sullivan, 9 years here at Florida, and every year he's been to the NCAA tournament. These are 2 great programs going toe-to-toe.
Yeah, we got a couple heavyweights here this evening, no doubt about it. A couple programs that are fighting to win that first national championship, Dave, but between them, 24 College World Series appearances. This is going to be a very interesting super regional.
Well, as far as Florida State's going, they're going to go with Drew Carlton, the sophomore, gets the ball. And he'll face a Gator lineup that has been very impressive of late. This is a lineup led by Dalton Guthrie at the top, Jonathan India and Peter Alonso, followed by J.J. Schwartz. But Carlton 7-3 on the year. Opponents hit just .272 against him. 91 hits allowed. He has struck out 71. What can we expect from him?
Well, you're going to see 3 pitches from Carlton. Certainly not overpowering, but a 3-pitch guy really needs his fastball command. And the question is, can he work down and can he avoid the big inning? Because it's a pitching staff that is not super deep. And if Florida can jump out early, it's going to be tough for Mike Martin to manage the innings in the bullpen. So he needs to avoid the big inning, try to give them a quality start.
Carlton averages just a shade over 3 strikeouts to every walk in his career. This year with that 4.36 ERA. 2-2 to Guthrie. Guthrie 4 for 15 in the NCAA tournament for the sophomore out of Sarasota, Florida. Lifts this one in the air. Deluzio will chase it down in the gap in left center. This Gator team hitting .281 on the year, swinging a little bit better here down the stretch with the fact that Peter Alonso back in the lineup. Boy, they missed him for those 10 games that he was out. J.J. Schwartz, certainly glad to have him back in the lineup. Schwartz at 292. Rivera, Reed, Maldonado, Lippett, and Reyes round out the Gator lineup. And here is Jonathan India, a freshman out of Coral Springs, Florida. Boy, he's had a nice, really solid, kind of a quiet year, but just as a freshman.
No doubt about it.
The third baseman anchoring that corner.
Yeah, probably hadn't gotten enough credit for his defense considering he's a lifelong shortstop, and the way he's come over and manned third base on one of the fastest surfaces in the Southeastern Conference has been really impressive for just a true freshman.
He looks at a strike. It's 1-2. Ground ball out to short. Taylor Wall scoops it up, makes the throw. That'll be 2 down. And here comes Peter Alonso. And if you want to talk about a hot bat, this is the guy that has one. The junior out of Tampa, Florida. Numbers on the year at 368. But since his return from a broken left hand, which he was hit by a pitch back on May 13th, he raked last weekend to the tune of 8 for 14 with 3 homers and 8 runs batted in. First pitch swinging, fouls it straight back.
This is a difference maker right here, and you can tell he is comfortable. There are no ill effects from that broken hand, and this is just a different offense when he's in the middle of it. There's no question about it. It's a scarier offense and certainly more difficult to pitch to.
And hammers this one to left, but right at Luke, and that's a nice 1-2-3 inning for Drew Carlton and the Seminoles. A warm day here in Gainesville, Florida, as we kick off the Super Regionals between the Seminoles and the Gators. Third member of our team, Kaylee Hartung, is down on the diamond. Let's join her right now. Hey, Kaylee.
Well, Dave, about 48 hours after the Florida Gators had 2 pitchers drafted in the first round and a third in the second round, Kevin O'Sullivan made the decision to give Alex Vallejo his first start in Game 1 of a series in his 2-year career at Florida. Kevin O'Sullivan told me it was a simple decision because Alex gives us the best chance to win, he said, with 13 wins on the season, a guy who's done it all season long against SEC competition. He was the guy he wanted on the mound tonight. Alex, for his part, told me he's just glad he gets a chance to play against Florida State on this stage because last year he didn't get the chance to. Florida swept him in 2, and he's usually that third night guy.
Thanks, Kaylee. And Berkey, I'll throw this at you. What does it do for a team mentally, a rotation, when you kind of change it up this late in the year as the Seminoles will send up Cal Raleigh?
Well, I think normally it would be a curveball for everybody, but I think with as successful as he's been now for 2 seasons, and you're talking about a guy who's 13-1 and has pitched in so many series clinching type of games throughout the course of this season, I think these guys really believe in him, and I think even the veterans Shore and Puck believe in him to the point where Sully felt like he could make this move. I don't think you would ever think about making this move unless it's a real guy like Alex Vallejo has proven himself to be.
Good first inning, couple of strikeouts and a fly out to left. Cal Raleigh, the freshman catcher, will step in, swing and a miss. 2-2 the count. He's had a nice NCAA tournament, 5 for 12 with a double and a home run. He is a good-looking prospect. 6'3", 205.
And a nice take right there. And that's the slider that so often gives the right-handed hitter fits. And you see the maturity of Raleigh as he spits on that 2-2 slider and now takes the count full, which you'll see so many of these Seminole hitters do throughout the course of the ball game.
And draws the walk. And that sets the stage for Dylan Busby, the first baseman. And Busby has been raking with the best of them. The sophomore out of Sarasota, Florida, has 5 consecutive multi-hit games. 14 home runs, 44th in the country, but 6th in the ACC. He is 8 for 17 in the NCAA tournament. And he will step in against Vallejo. First pitch, continues to swing a good bat. First and second for the Seminoles.
Yeah, you know you're seeing it pretty well when you're swinging first pitch slider, and not just the first pitch of an at bat, but the first pitch of the series. Busby comes up there and rips a first pitch slider in the 6 hole. A really simple move from Busby, who's got a chance to be a star moving forward. Really cemented himself as a middle of the order guy in this season, and certainly a guy looking forward who could be a conference player of the year type for the Seminoles.
Quincy Deporte will step in. Quincy, a junior out of Atlanta. I asked him to lay down the bunt.
Now, these are the types of things that we see in super regionals that we wouldn't see on a normal conference weekend, or even if these two teams were meeting on a midweek game in March. It's just interesting with a guy like Deporte up there to see a bunt. And you can see he certainly wasn't comfortable with that first attempt. See if they keep it on here after an 0-1 start.
Deporte 6 for 14 in the tournament. 302 on the year with 5 homers. He's been battling a bad hamstring. First and second. Nobody out here in the top of the second. 0 sack bunts on the year. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Yeah, took that bunt off. I think they saw what we saw. He certainly wasn't comfortable on that first attempt, and then Vallejo climbs the ladder with a 4-seamer just above the belt. And boy, you better defend the slider right here on an 0-2 count.
Quincy transferred in from Tallahassee Community College out of St. Pius High School in Atlanta. He is the second toughest to strike out in the ACC, averaging 1 K for every 16 at-bats.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Doesn't walk a ton, but certainly doesn't strike out very much either. And you can tell by those 2 takes, there's no rush in his mechanics right now with 2 strikes. And my guess is Vallejo's probably going to have to go back to that 4-seamer if he wants to swing and a miss.
And got him.
And I think Kevin O'Sullivan saw what we saw was the easy takes on the 2 previous sliders, so they go with the gas on the inside part of the play. Good job there by Mike Rivera to hold on to that foul tip as we take a look at Kevin O'Sullivan. How about this for the Gators? 7 national seeds over the last 8 seasons. Does that work for you?
Yeah, I think that's pretty impressive. That's a pretty solid run. 10-1 against the Seminoles here at McKeithen Stadium. A full house here tonight. Standing room only. Game 1 of this 3-game set. Tyler Holton. 1-1 to count.
Fastball's got some life on it today, Dave. Boy, that fastball's got some finish to it. You can see the Seminole hitters have been tardy consistently on the heater. The 1 ball squared up was a breaking ball to Busby.
This is the first time Holton has faced the Gators this year. Didn't play in any of the 3 games during the regular season. The freshman right fielder expected to get the ball on the mound tomorrow. Matter of fact, the Seminoles down the stretch, they're really searching for a rotation on the mound, and they've settled into a sophomore and 2 freshmen.
Yeah, probably the youngest roster that Mike Martin has featured here in the last few years especially, and certainly exciting times for the Seminole fans. So much youth and already playing at a super regional level. Tell you what, you better get them this year. You better get them this year.
Two on with a 3-2 counts. The second out of the inning. And that is the 4th strikeout of the game.
Gas. And we are seeing a young man that is feeling his four-seamer right now, as you just see a good fastball on the outside part of the plate. Keeping those emotions in check, though. You could see some energy run through his body there as he got the big put-away pitch. But so far, he looks to be very poised. And it's extremely impressive to watch him work here in this early going for a young man making the biggest start of his young career.
Here's Ben DeLuzio, the center fielder. Swing and a miss. Boy, he would love to get the monkey off his back right now. He is 0 for 10 versus the Gators here in 2016 and has struggled in the last 5 games overall. 1 for 15. He's seen his average drop to 243. Base hit here might score one.
They can get along. Look.
Yeah, they're smiling. Right now.
It's still early.
Right. Good take by DeLuzio. DeLuzio, the junior out of Windermere, Florida. Was the Marlins' 3rd round pick, 80th overall back in 2013. Now it's 2-2.
Yeah, came to Florida State as one of the best athletes in his recruiting year, can really, really run. The problem has been the bat just hasn't developed for Mike Martin as they would have hoped over his time at Florida State, but it's one of the best that's ever done it right there, Dave Neal.
Let me tell you something. Yesterday watching him practice, he was all in, buddy.
Yeah. He was coaching, no doubt about it.
It's full now, 3-2.
Right here, you have to just keep trusting that fastball. I know it's a run-scoring opportunity, but the fastball has been the swing and miss pitch here in this inning. You see him kind of yank that one away, maybe trying to be a little too fine with it. See if he attacks more of the middle of the plate here.
Swing and a miss. 3 consecutive strikeouts after the first. 2 guys got on, and the Seminoles will leave 2.
The Gator faithful are fired up, Dave Neal. Their guy is dominant here in the second inning. A fastball past Niporti, another swing and miss fastball, and then the slider to put away DeLuzio.
Some blue skies here in Gainesville, Florida. Boy, we had a pretty good shower last night. Hopefully they will stay away today as you look at our bracket. The winner of this Super Regional will face the winner of the LSU Coastal Carolina Super that's coming up at 9 o'clock Eastern Time over on ESPNU in Game 1. That begins the College World Series in Omaha a week from today as Drew Carlton and company start the bottom of the second inning with J.J. Schwartz, Mike Rivera, and Buddy Reed, 4, 5, and 6, as Drew Carlton got the Gators to go 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the first inning. Here's a guy, J.J. Schwartz, last year, Berkey, that was one of the most impressive freshman seasons offensively that we had seen in a long time. And certainly the numbers this year compared to a year ago, not impressive. But if you take it as a whole, a 292 average, 6 home runs, 54 runs batted in, pretty good season.
No doubt. I think he set a standard that he's not been able to live up to, and so people are judging him off what they expected from him based on an All-American, freshman All-American season that he put up last year, led the league in runs batted in. So certainly you would expect more home runs, at least from Schwartz, but this is the type of kid that could hit 3 or 4 or 5 in any given weekend. So you better be careful, because it can ignite at any time, as we saw last season with a 4 home run game.
Yeah, last year, 332, 18 home runs, and 73 runs batted in. First Florida State in his 8 games over his career. I think he has seen the ball pretty well against the Noles. A 455 clip.
And that's tough to explain. It's tough to explain why some guys really have success against certain clubs, but don't think he doesn't know that. He definitely does, and there's an air of confidence that a hitter can gain when they see a familiar uniform that they've had success against in the past.
Drew Carlton just keeps pumping strikes in there. 2-2 the count to Schwartz. Was there a team that you, in your college days, that you just felt like I had that team's number?
Well, I don't know if there's any one team that I could point to.
I mean, you hit 400 one year, 420, 430 the next year. I mean, it wasn't like you hit everybody pretty well, I guess. Oh, Carlton freezes them, and Schwartz heading back. Out number 1. As you look at this Florida State defense, 968 fielding percentage. That's a 137th in the country, 74 errors for this group. By comparison, Florida just 43 errors on the year. But I think they have shown some improvement defensively here in the last month of the regular season and postseason play.
Well, they switched some guys up this season. Yeah. Sansone went from second to third. Busby went from third to first. Walls is another year better. Certainly bring in Henderson, a junior college player, to try to solidify the middle of the infield.
And a nice running grab. And Rivera is retired, 2 down. So Luke with the catch, 2 down.
Impressive start here from Carlton. Filling up the zone with strikes. We saw the fastball command to J.J. Schwartz for a strikeout looking, and the ability to make this Gator offense beat you and not give the free passes is certainly something that's going to be a storyline for him to get deep into this ball game.
He's got to have the guys. We just showed you the graphic. He's got to have the 8 guys behind him, and the one behind the dish, Cal Rock. They got to play well, because he's going to pump the strikes in there, and the Gators are going to put the bat on the ball.
They have to defend, no question about it. He keeps hitting the edges. He's going to have a lot of success in this ball game.
Buddy Reed is a guy that needs to get it going for the Gators. The junior at 6'4", 210. Just 1 for 12 in the NCAA tournament. He has seen his average dip to 251.
Buddy Reed just got his name called by the San Diego Padres. Certainly one of the most interesting prospects in this year's draft class. Can he reach the potential that you see when you watch him play is certainly the question. But if he does, the Padres could have stolen one in the early 2nd round with the pick of Reed.
48th pick overall. Slaps it out to center field. And the man they call Buddy Love in these parts reaches with a 2-out base knock.
And now the fun begins. 24 of 26 on the bases this year as we take a look at him hitting his hanging slider. One thing he does do well is hit the ball in the bottom of the zone. The hands have a tendency to fall when he loads, and he has trouble with velocity up in the zone. But he has had some success with the ball down mid-thigh or to the knees, and he gets a breaking ball in that zone right there and rips it up the middle. And let's see how long it takes him to take off.
And here is Nelson Maldonado, the freshman out of Tampa, Florida. Hitting 7th in this lineup. He's out in right field. 272 hitter with 6 home runs and 30 runs batted in. He's riding a 6-game hit streak, hitting 400 in the NCAA tournament.
See Carlton, when he misses, he has a tendency to miss to the arm side. The fastball has a lot of arm side run to it. And in a ballpark that has a very friendly left field, the ball can get out of here in a hurry on a 2-0 count. Got to be disciplined here. Make sure you get this fastball on the outside part of the plate because Maldonado can take you deep.
2-1. That one is fouled straight back. Maldonado's a guy that came here kind of as an infielder, third baseman type, but really with the work that Jonathan India has done at third base, really wasn't going to have a spot over there. So they had to find a spot. They like his bat so much.
He's a ball player, and this one's going to be, he's going to be a good one. If he, you talk about the #1 national seed in the country, and in this ball game, they're starting almost exclusively sophomores and freshmen, except for Alonso and Reed. 7 of the 9 hitters in this lineup, sophomore and freshman. And so many of them are still figuring it out, yet because of the arms and because of how talented they are at a young age, they find themselves in the position they're in. But Maldonado is the type of kid who really took his lumps early. But boy, down the stretch has he grown up and a very dangerous freshman here at the bottom part of this order.
There goes Buddy Reed, check swing. And Buddy will head back to first base. 2-2 the count. As you look at Buddy Reed, so much potential in that body. And we were talking to Kevin O'Sullivan yesterday, and he says, there weren't a whole lot of people really interested in offering a scholarship to Buddy Reed, but when Kevin O'Sullivan saw him, went down, watched him play tournament baseball in the summer, watched him 4 or 5 straight days, and said, you know what, I'm going to give this guy a shot, but if we're going to take him, he's going to play every day.
Got to play.
And he feels the same thing about the next level in the big leagues. They got to take him. Somebody's going to get a good player. Nice play defensively by Walsh. And you can see some weather moving in, but for now we seem to be okay. Hopefully that'll slide right on by McKeithen Stadium. You look at our super regional headlines, and that top line right there is the shocking number of the day. Road teams are 6-1, and 4 national seeds lose their first game.
Well, it helps when you're getting the starting pitching. We saw it from Oklahoma State. We saw it from Arizona. We saw it from TCU. Starting pitchers going on the road and dominating, not just giving their team a chance, really dominating the games. And I think it speaks to some of the pressure that these home teams play under. I think the home team, especially in game 1, feels a significant amount of pressure.
Henderson lifts it to left. Danny Reyes is there, makes the catch. And with that, let's go down to Kaylee Hartung.
Well, guys, during the last inning, we saw Alex Faedo in the Florida dugout with a very interesting-looking glove over his throwing hand. And as it was explained to me, it's called My Core Control. And what it does is it pumps cold water over the hand. It cools the blood and your pressure points. It's a very preventative measure, especially when you're in a place like Gainesville, Florida, when the humidity and the temperatures are as it is now.
They got any extras?
That's what I asked.
Bring a couple to the booth, Kaylee, if you get a couple.
That is nice. Faedo was in some trouble in the second inning as the Seminoles got 2 on to start the inning. Cal Raleigh walked, and then Dylan Busby singled, and then Faedo 3 consecutive strikeouts to end the inning. As the lineup flips now, Walls, Sansone, and then Luke if we get that far. Walls was a strikeout victim to start the game, was caught looking. But a high pitch count to this point for Faedo. He had 4 3-ball counts in the first 2 innings. At least 2 balls on 7 of the first 8 hitters. But you mentioned it. This is a Florida State team that is very patient at the plate.
Yeah, this is what they do.
That ball is hit hard to center field. Buddy Reed came in a few steps and then I guess gave it the
Closing speed. Closing speed for Buddy Reed, who did not get a very good jump on this ball from an angle standpoint. I think he thought this ball was more of a low liner and didn't have as much carry as it did. You see him kind of go sideways and then retreat. But the range, the length, the speed to end up making that play look easy after an initial poor jump.
Sansone fouls that one straight back. He too was a strikeout victim his first time up. 8th round pick by Cincinnati. Hey, for more coverage of the Division I Baseball Super Regionals and interactive brackets, be sure to go to ncaa.com. Sansone has been moved over to third base this season. Second baseman by trade, but they were having some issues over there. They slide him to that spot. A little better glove. Hadn't affected him at the plate.
No, excellent season. A professional hitter is John Sansone.
But can't handle the Faedo slider. That was a rather quick inning. He's filling up the zone as well. Sold out in just minutes for this Super Regional. Disney Plaza down the left field line. Standing room only. Great atmosphere. Seminoles and Gators who move to the bottom of the third, scoreless, just 1 hit apiece. We'll start with Deacon Lippett. It'll be 8-9 in the top of the lineup. Dave Neal alongside 3-time All-American, former first-round draft pick of the Houston Astros, Chris Burke, Kaylee Hartung down on dugout level. Glad you could join us. Gators and Seminoles, consecutive seasons they have met in the Super Regional right here in Gainesville, Florida. Last year, Gators took this one in 2 consecutive games on the way to Omaha. Deacon Lippett, a true second baseman, has played so well in his freshman season. Was the Class 7A Player of the Year last year here in the state of Florida.
These youngsters come in ready to play. He does it every year. Last year we saw it with Rivera and Schwartz, and this year we've seen it with India and Lippett, Maldonado. These kids show up on campus ready to play. And because of that, he never really has to rebuild. You see the lineup, it never truly struggles because it's like the next guy, you know, you think about it, you lose Bader and Richie Martin and some of these guys that were such good players, yet the next year you're a higher national seed. And of course, Mike Martin is the architect of the model of consistency, right? But Kevin O'Sullivan trying to replicate that here in Gainesville with the run that he's on to start his career, 9 for 9 in postseason appearances. It's not 37 for 37, but it's a pretty good start.
Fouled back. It was interesting. We were here for practices yesterday. Mike Martin Jr. does a lot of the recruiting for Florida State. Was talking to Kevin O'Sullivan. They were crossing paths, and Kevin O'Sullivan lost a bunch of guys to the draft, some veterans on his team, but there was Junior right there who lost some high school kids to the draft.
The top 30.
And it happens to all of them at this level. There's a ground out as Henderson makes the throw. Let's get a college baseball update. Let's go to the studio. Brendan Fitzgerald. Interesting times.
That only counted for one, but it should have been 1.5.
That was a long home run. That was in the air for a very long time.
Yes, that was over all the tailgaters in left field.
Danny Reyes, the freshman, another youngster, steps to the plate with one out.
You talk about being in practice yesterday. How about when Senior told us, you know, if we make the regionals next year, he says.
Yeah, we started laughing and he looked at us like we were crazy.
And he was dead serious.
Yeah.
Complete humility.
37 straight.
If we're fortunate to make the regionals next year, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Reyes through the right side. Base hit with one down. He's now 5 for 11 in the NCAA tournament, and his first hit against the Seminoles as he did not play in any of the 3 meetings during the regular season.
And another freshman who has now worked himself into the lineup here down the stretch. Really, the injury to Alonso allowed Danny Reyes the opportunity to get some starts, and Kevin O'Sullivan was looking for some thunder, looking for a guy that could hit some extra base hits, and Reyes took advantage of his opportunity, now finds himself an everyday player.
This could be 2. Sansone, they'll turn the corner. Good pick over there by Busby, and some good defense behind Drew Carlton.
Alex Faedo has been dominant through the first 3 frames of this ball game. We've seen the fastball slider combination as he has punched out 6 Seminoles through 3 frames. The fastball has tremendous finish to it today. We've seen it up to 95 miles an hour, and we know about that wipeout slider. He has kept his emotions in check, but certainly has pitched with a fire and an energy that has propelled him off to this quick start.
He is retired 6 in a row now. Both these guys have pitched exceptionally well, Carlton and Faedo. Carlton just got a double play to get out of the inning a moment ago. Jackson Luke for the fly out. And Luke hammers this one down the line. This will be extra bases. Luke will wind up with his 10th double of the year and a good start for the Seminoles here in the 4th.
And here come the Noles, an offense that is extremely difficult to keep at bay for too long a period of time. And Jackson Luke, who is one of the most talented players on the field, just a freshman, hitting over 400, gets a fastball down and in and rips it in the right field corner. And the Noles have a run scoring opportunity here to start the 4th.
Luke was on the ACC All-Tournament team, followed that up with an NCAA Tallahassee All-Regional team performance. Now he sets up Cal Raleigh, who walked his first time up. Mike Rivera, the catcher, 5'10", 200 pounds, out to talk to Faedo.
Just slowing his big man down. Things can speed up on you, especially after a leadoff double, and certainly not a big miss there and just one pitch, but the chemistry that these two have told Rivera he needed to go out and talk to his young starter just to make sure that he's focused in on the next pitch and not still thinking about the double.
That one's fouled back, 1-1.
A big situational at bat right here, Dave. You got a big slugging left-handed hitter up with a runner on second and nobody out. You see him taking a look in the dugout, checking his signs for Mike Martin Sr., but this is a left-handed hitter's dream at bat right here. You get the luxury of giving the freedom to pull the baseball. The question is, will Faedo give him something to work with?
Foul tipped. 2 strikes.
I think what you can see, a couple big swings there from Raleigh. It's easy when you know you have the green light to go ahead and get the bat head out to sometimes maybe get a little big. A couple loose swings there from Raleigh, finds himself in a hole 1-2.
Well, you know Cal can hit. His dad certainly was a good player in his own right. Played in the Red Sox organization, of course, was head coach at your alma mater for a few years at Tennessee. Also coached at West Carolina. Got some baseball genes and can play the game. And at 6'3", got an outstanding frame.
Very athletic. Said he could have been a college basketball player, and certainly his old man taught him how to play, because it's not just what we've seen on the field with double-digit home runs and catching and carrying that workload, but also the intangibles, the leadership qualities, the way he carries himself off the field are what you hear the most about.
Back-to-back walks in first and second, and there's nobody out. The second time this has happened. And here comes Kevin O'Sullivan.
The discipline of Florida State will drive you crazy. Raleigh with a couple big swings early, but then fight back and draw a walk. And now first and second, nobody out. We saw a bunt attempt early in the game by Niporti, who had 0 sacrifice bunts on the season. I'd be shocked if we see a bunt attempt here from the red-hot Busby. You can tell Kevin O'Sullivan is not happy, and I don't know if they're struggling with the strike zone or what, as you see a lot of the dialogue going on between Mike Rivera and Kevin O'Sullivan.
Dylan Busby in the Tallahassee Regional went crazy with a couple of home runs, 8 for 17. Alonzo just a tick better, 8 for 14 with 3 homers. And here comes Busby to the plate. Niporti on deck. The Seminoles with runners in scoring position today, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Busby trying to break that little string.
Hit a first pitch slider in his first at bat. See how they start him off here. Tried to go in with a 2-seamer, yanked it back across the plate. You can see Busby taking all the way.
The last time this situation occurred for Florida State, all Faedo did was go strikeout, strikeout, strikeout to end the inning.
Well, off to a good start right here. A couple good fastballs to get this at bat going. Such a tough at bat for a right-handed hitter once you get behind the Faedo because of the fastball slider combo.
Out number 1.
How about this for showing up in a big spot if you're Alex Faedo, up against a first and second situation, a first pitch fastball at the knees, paints a 4-seamer on the corner, and then here's the put away slider as Busby just can't quite hold back. A big strikeout for Alex Faedo.
7 strikeouts for Faedo. And he's ahead on Niporti.
And as much success as they had last at bat against Niporti with the fastball, be interesting to see if they stay with it. Look, Tardy again right there on that first pitch fastball.
He's got a little growth, huh?
Yeah, it's solid. Something tells me that didn't start last week. Looks like he's been working on that for a while.
And he gets one in the shoulder. They are now loaded. That is the 11th hit batter of the season for Faedo.
I don't know, is this a changeup or a slider that gets away with something at 88 miles an hour that fades up and in? And that's probably the friendliest HBP that Deporte's ever taken, because it didn't look like he was seeing the ball very good against Faedo. I think he's happy to take that one right there. And now Faedo is really in a mess here with the bases loaded and just one away.
This whole thing started when Jackson Luke doubled down the right field line. He's down at third base. Cal Raleigh walked, and now Deporte is over at first after being plunked by the pitch. And Tyler Holton will step in. He struck out in the second inning against Faedo. Holton 1 for 1 this year with an RBI with the bases loaded. No swing, says Kelly Gonzalez down at third base.
Tyler Holton, who really has just become a fixture in this lineup going back to the ACC tournament, with the biggest at bat of this ball game, the number 2 starter for this Seminole club here, with a chance to break this game open.
Boy, he is sitting pretty now with a 2-0 count. You take one here?
No, you got to trust yourself right here. You got a chance to really bust this thing open. You know you're getting a fastball after a couple sliders. One thing Kevin O'Sullivan doesn't do is hide his emotions. That's not much of a poker face. You're not going to see Sully with much of a poker face too often. And for a guy who is a strike thrower, to see him labor with the strike zone from time to time throughout the first 4 innings of this ball game is certainly not something they're accustomed to.
Looks like Dane Dunning was heading down to that Gator bullpen area. And Faedo has walked in the first run of the game. Give the RBI to Tyler Holton. The Seminoles lead it 1-0.
And an offense that is known for his patience. Again, the #1 on-base percentage in the ACC continues to make Faedo earn everything he gets. The stuff has been dominant. 7 punch-outs to this point in the game, but too many misses, and right now it is danger zone time. He better find it quickly or this game could get out of hand.
DeLuzio. He struck out his first time up. He looks at a strike. And that is Dane Dunning.
Not your everyday middle reliever, folks. The 29th pick in the draft. Fastball up to 97 miles an hour.
We told you about DeLuzio's struggles lately. Now 1 for his last 16 with 5 strikeouts. He's 0 for 11 against the Gators this year. Base hit here, that would all be forgotten. It is 3-1.
And I think at this point, you're taking right here. I think if you're Ben DeLuzio, as much as he's struggled, I think you got to make Alex Faedo throw 2 strikes in a row.
Faedo with 7 strikeouts. And now having a tough time finding the zone, period.
But just a couple pitches away from getting out of this mess. Maybe 1 pitch away if he gets a one-hopper at somebody right here.
This could be it. The pick over at first by Alonso, and the Gators turn 2.
There it is, Dave, the exact outcome the Gator fans were looking for. Up against it, Alex Faedo gets a ground ball to Guthrie, who flips to Lippett, and credit Alonso with a great dig to get the Gators off the field.
Say, Coach, we saw you gather your entire team just a second ago. What was the message to them after that inning?
Just loosen up. You know, we just had a double play ball there. That was a big play for us to get out of it, and obviously it could have been a lot more damage than when we gave up one. But I think Alex is just kind of pitching away from contact a little bit. You know, he's got a bunch of deep counts, but you know, he's throwing the ball fine. He's making some big pitches when he needs to. We just got to get the offense going a little bit.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kaylee. And you wonder that inning, if you're Florida State, you're happy to get the run, but you wonder if you leave a little bit on the table, if that's going to come back.
Because you just don't know how many chances you're going to get. But I think Sully hit it right on the nose there. With team looks a little tight, and that has been the theme throughout the Super Regionals that we've seen. Mississippi State getting shut out, Texas A&M only scoring 2 runs. It's Louisville losing today to UCSB. The visiting teams have certainly been the looser groups, it seems to be, through game 1 of the Supers.
There is Kevin O'Sullivan as Jonathan India steps in. And that bat just went right toward his teammates. Heads up.
That's a bad feeling right there. That's when you need a little more stickum. Go back to the on-deck circle. Oh, get you some Motor Stick, get you some pine tar, whatever you do, some rosin, whatever you need.
You know, we see a shot of a moment ago of Kevin O'Sullivan, and there are a lot of rumors flying around that he was a leading candidate for an opening in Texas. As Augie Garrido steps away, moves to another position in that athletic department. But we talked to Kevin O'Sullivan this weekend, and his response to all that was, hey, man, I am happy here in Gainesville, and I am committed to being the head coach at the University of Florida. As India is out number 1. For more on that story, let's go down to Kaylee.
Well, Dave, Florida Athletic Director Jeremy Foley confirmed to me that Kevin O'Sullivan is not going anywhere. Private conversations have been had between the coach and the athletic director, but we won't hear any public statement or formal announcement from the university on O'Sullivan and his future here until this baseball season is complete. But when he does sign a new contract, that will be public record, and we'll hear all about it then.
Oh, I'm sure we will. As Peter Alonso steps in with 1 out. And, you know, and Sully didn't elaborate when we talked about it. He just said, hey, man, I'm happy here.
I'm a Gator.
I'm a Gator. I'm excited to be the head coach here. And why wouldn't you be?
Exactly right. And I think what he has built here, but there's still that one missing piece for sure that he's trying like crazy to get, which is that national championship.
That ball's touched to center field. DeLuzio makes the catch. Hey, let's get another update. Let's go to our studios. Florida State here trying to steal one on the road. Seems to be the norm in these super regionals.
Boy, that ECU Texas Tech game. ECU just one big play away from going to Omaha for the first time ever, and Texas Tech trying to live to see another day. The drama out there, you know, it just brings back some great memories just as I get the fortunate opportunity to cover these super regionals, because really the pressure never gets bigger than the supers, because Omaha is such a destination. You see Omaha from the first day you step on campus in the fall all the way through the end of the spring, and there's so much on the line this weekend.
Out to second base. Henderson, nice clean play, and another solid inning for Drew Carlton and the Seminoles. When we come back, we'll talk to that guy.
Change your game plan.
Well, you know, Alex Faedo is one of the top pitchers in the country. We've seen him before, and he's dynamite, and he's pitching a beautiful ball game right now. You got to really credit him for getting out of a tough situation last inning. But as far as what we try to do, we just try to get good pitches to hit and rip.
You've gotten runners on base. What do you want to see your guys do in order to get them across the plate without Faedo walking them across?
Well, I think the big thing is just continue to do what we're doing, and maybe something will happen. But I'm very pleased with the at-bats that we've had thus far.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Kaylee.
Thanks, Kaylee. And they've had some quality at-bats. They have watched Faedo throw up 75 pitches already. He has had some high stress level pitches.
He has, but if any staff can endure a starter maybe not getting quite as deep into the game as they'd like them, it's Florida. Not quite as much pressure on the starters for Florida to get into the seventh because of the depth of the bullpen, so Alex Faedo has the luxury to nibble, especially in damage situations.
Strike to Matt Henderson, who will lead it off. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Seminoles. 2 hits apiece in this one as we move to the 5th. Time called. I've seen this a lot this year. A lot of late time called by batters, home plate umpires giving them that option. Certainly it's not something the home plate umpire is obligated to do.
No.
That one just sails up and away. There is some rain coming down. It's not a heavy rain. Not a lot of folks have left their seats here at McKeithen Stadium, but there is a light drizzle that's been going on for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Probably feels pretty good to some of these fans who were baking out there for the first couple innings.
Cloud cover. It was a hot, muggy day today here in Central Florida. Two and two.
That changeup you see there from Faedo, that was the one that he lost to the backstop. We've seen that from him. If he throws a poor one, he usually goes right back to it.
It is a full house here at McKeithen Stadium, as you might expect when these two clubs get together for just about anything. Nice little souvenir, nice grab. Giving it to the kid. What you got to do, right?
That's it.
Line right back up the middle. Boy, that's a nice at-bat from Matt Henderson. Hey, this week on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, it's a first-ever doubleheader from the seats. Broadcasting the Cards-Pirates game from atop the Roberto Clemente wall at PNC Park at 5 Eastern. Then at 8:30, calling the Dodgers-Giants game from above the right field wall at AT&T Park. Both games also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. That'll be fun.
Yeah, a couple good venues to do it in, too, that's for sure.
Here comes Kevin O'Sullivan out to the mound. And that could just very well be it for the Alex Faedo day on the mound.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Dane Dunning here. You get a look at the rain falling right there, starting to pick up a little bit, but it's just such a valuable weapon. And with him not slated to start, with A.J. Puck and Logan Shore slated to go the next couple games, when he sees a starter struggling like Faedo has, it's hard for him not to go to Dunning, who has been so good for them out of the bullpen.
Faedo with 7 strikeouts, but just kind of lost his control. So we will see this guy, first rounder, coming out of the bullpen for the Gators. Back in a moment. Like 7 strikeouts, 3 walks, 3 hits allowed, and just kind of lost that pinpoint accuracy. And you got to ask the question, day 1 starter, he's kind of been at the back end a little bit most of the season. Good move, bad move? I guess
like the move.
In the end of the day, you know, we'll find out when the scoreboard says.
I like the move. I think he could see that his maybe expended a little too much energy early in the ball game. Not exactly sure why the struggles started, but he was fighting himself. There's no doubt about it. When you got one of the top pitchers in the country and Dane Dunning in your bullpen, there's no reason to wait around.
High fly ball deep to left. Walls off the wall. They will send Henderson around third. Here's the throw from Reed. It is cut off, and that is a double and an RBI. The Seminoles lead it 2-0. The first pitch from Dane Dunning almost got out of here.
Apparently the Seminoles like to move too, Dave Neal. And Dane Dunning gets greeted rudely right out of the gate from Taylor Walls. We talked about the short left field here, and we see a fastball middle up, middle away, and Taylor Walls drives this ball just over the glove of Danny Reyes. And Matt Henderson, you can see waiting to make sure that ball doesn't get caught, puts his nose down as the ball deflects away from Reyes. He scores easily. And here come the Noles as they continue the offense that they showed last week in the regional.
There's the bunt. Rivera. And it's dropped over there at first by Lippett. And the run will score. One of the best fielding teams. As a matter of fact, the third best fielding team in the country just committed their 44th error of the season, allowing the Seminoles to take a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, they caught him napping. They caught the freshman Lippett napping right there. And with a runner on second, nobody out, he's probably thinking the veteran Sansone's going to swing the bat. And you can see he was not in position and not running all that hard. Dave gets there late. Rivera has to pause. He's trying to find the bag and catch the baseball at the same time. Not able to do it. And boy, the Gators look tight, just like we've seen from so many of the host teams to this point in this super regional round. A very sloppy start by the Gators, and the Seminoles have taken advantage to a 3-0 lead.
Still nobody out. 2 runs have come home, and it's a 3-0 game. Jackson Luke will step in. Luke doubled and scored in the 4th inning. Dane Dunning taken in the first round by the Washington Nationals with the 29th pick in the draft.
The thing to look for with Dunning is the arm side run to the fastball. You'll see it 93, 97 miles an hour, a very good slider in the low to mid 80s, a changeup that he features as well. And one of the reasons I think he went that high, Dave, was because he projects as a starter. There's no doubt about it. Even though he's pitched primarily as a reliever this season, he certainly has the arsenal to pitch as a starter, as a frontline starter. Certainly what the Nationals are hoping for.
Certainly with outstanding makeup, a guy that, you know, there are 300 plus Division I baseball teams in the country, and he could be a #1 guy on 290 of them. As the rain increases, the intensity of the rain increases.
And I think that's something to think about as we talk about the decision to bring Dunning in this ball game. Now, certainly he was up and hot in the bullpen, but you bring him in, you take Faedo out, you bring him in. If you get a rain delay in this kind of situation, you could end up at burning 2 of your best arms in 5 innings.
It's fouled off of Rivera. Catches one off the thigh.
Now the good news is there's no lightning. We haven't heard any thunder. So you'd like to think they're going to play through this if that continues, but certainly just another element to think about in the decision by Kevin O'Sullivan to go to Dunning early.
Thunder and lightning. Makes me think of the old Mississippi State.
Hey now.
Will Clark, Rafael Palmeiro. That one's lifted out of play. The Seminoles with 3 runs in the last 2 innings have taken some of the juice out of the crowd here. We have seen it throughout the super regionals this weekend around the country. That's down the line and left. Reyes with a long run, can't catch up to it, and we'll do it again. I love these Gator fans and some Seminoles here. Well, they're not even moving with the rain.
No.
I mean, it's not even an issue. See Kaylee down there. She's got her raincoat on.
Yeah, she's taking cover.
I mean, it's just,
you wouldn't even know it was raining. Look at these guys.
Right.
A few ponchos out there.
Out to second. Only play is going to be first, and that'll be the first out of the inning. But that will certainly get Sansone over to second base. Now you're looking at hitters 4, 5, and 6 coming up with a chance to drive a run in.
Yeah, Raleigh, Busby, and Laporte, a very difficult stretch in this lineup. Raleigh has shown tremendous patience already in this ball game, working a couple walks. What a star this one's going to be over the next couple years.
First pitch strike. Chopper fouled on the first baseline, and not to be lost in all this is Drew Carlton gets to sit in that Florida State dugout on a hot afternoon. Now has a 3-run cushion. He's pitched extremely well. Just a couple of hits to this point.
Yeah, he's made it look awfully easy. Just playing catch with the mitt, letting his defense work behind him. Been a strike throwing clinic by him so far in this ball game.
Boy, he really missed the target there. Rivera set up outside.
Rivera wanted that two-seamer off the edge. They just missed with one on the previous pitch, and you see Dunning kind of yanks it back, really on the corner, just down. But I'm not exactly sure why Rivera set that far off on a 1-2 pitch. You see that sometimes on 0-2, but Raleigh continues to show the patience of a veteran as he works the count even again.
To first. Toss over to Dunning. That is out number 2.
See Dunning going to that baseball and wiping his leg, trying to keep his hand dry, trying to make sure that he's got a good feel for that pitch. As the rain continues, you start to lose dry spots on your uniform. I know as an infielder, I used to keep my hand underneath my glove all the time while it rained, just to make sure that I never got any moisture on my hand in between pitches. Dirt still looks pretty solid at this point.
Dylan Busby 1 for 2 today. Singled in the second, struck out in the fourth. He squares up
twice. He's trying to steal a run right here. And a kid who's red hot. I don't think Florida State coaching staff wants him bunting, especially once you've lost the element of the sneak attack, as we see Dunning trying to clear his glasses off there, making sure his vision is clear with the rain continuing to remain steady.
Boy, Dunning also struggling a little bit. When you think about what he's been able to do, his last 40 innings of work, covering 19 appearances, he struck out 44 guys, walked just 3, picked up 3 wins. It's over the last 2 months. Greg Charles over at first says no swing.
We saw him retired on one of these last time. Let's see if this barrel gets past his hands. Oh, I think it did. I think it did. He did a really good job of bringing it back. But for me, that's kind of the deciding factor. Does the barrel cross his hands? But the call goes the Seminoles' way as Busby now looking to add to this lead.
And there is the walk, which is certainly an unexpected walk from Dane Dunning.
They didn't look like they wanted any part of Busby right there. First pitch fastball in the corner and got ahead, and then from there it was a nibble fest. So they're going to take their chances with Naporte, who was hit by a pitch in his last at bat, but has been late on the fastball to this point in the ball game. I got to believe he's hunting dead red right here.
Naporte with 5 home runs on the year. Boy, 21 pitches out of the bullpen for Dane Dunning. Trying to get out of this inning as he takes over for Alex Faedo. There is Faedo. Started off so well, but ran into some trouble in the 4th and 5th. Weak effort from Naporte.
Home crowd getting on Greg Charles there about that check swing.
1st and 3rd with 2 down. Right back to Dunning. He will underhand toss it. And the Gators get the 3rd out, but not before the Seminoles strike for 2 more. They take a 3-0 lead.
The 2 teams here, John Sansone, the 3rd baseman for Florida State, was the only player drafted for Florida State. So Florida had 8 players total, 6 in the top 88. And Florida State just the 1 8th-round pick, John Sansone.
Rivera, first pitch from Drew Carlton out to center field. Deluzio makes the catch. 1 down.
Now Florida State's day is coming.
Yep.
With the sophomores and freshmen on this roster, they're going to have their day where they light up the draft board. But the Gators and the Louisville Cardinals really pace the country with high-profile picks in this year's draft.
Buddy Reed singled his first time up. 2nd round pick. He's 1 for 1. Boy, Drew Carlton, a sophomore, on the mound for Florida State. He has just been really sharp to this point for Florida State. Couldn't ask for a better start.
No, has made it look easy.
Out to short. Walls, 2 down. Time for another update. Let's get it to Brendan Fitzgerald in the studios. It is getting interesting in Lubbock, Texas.
The base is loaded. The Pirates 1 run away from punching their first ticket to Omaha, unable to capitalize. Texas Tech just keeps hanging around. But I tell you what, this is probably the point in the game where now, obviously, as they move into extra innings and East Carolina's starting to feel that first ever trip, where I think the pressure certainly shifts to them and the home crowd can propel Texas Tech to maybe win late in a ball game. But I think this year, as much as ever, as we've seen the visiting teams 6-1, to this point in Super Regionals, where you just get that feeling that the home teams are playing tight. Certainly Florida looks that way here early on.
Maldonado. 1-2 the count to him. The freshman, but 2 outs at the plate.
Come into Super Regional play with the host team winning 73% of the time, history tells us. But now, history also tells us that the team that wins game 1 wins almost 80% of the time. So something has to give here. One number is going to be changed dramatically.
Wins the series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wins the series. Something has to give. That's for sure.
The Gators come in having won 50 games this year. 50-13 on the year. Slow roller out to short. Walls on the run, looking sharp. Some good defense by the Seminoles. Holton, DeLuzio, and Henderson coming up for the Noles. No team has more wins in NCAA regional or super regional play than the Florida State Seminoles. 155, 4 more than Texas. And you see what the Seminoles did this year, 16-10 in conference play. They went 29-9 at home, won 7 of their last 8 games. They lost to Clemson in the ACC Tournament Championship game. Gave up 18 runs in that game. And the way we have seen them pitch here today, it's hard to believe they gave up that many runs. But this is a team that certainly is playing well at the right time.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and it really coincided with Drew Carlton becoming the #1 starter on this team. And he has solidified that #1 start as given them a quality start over the last 6 weeks or so. But they had a run there in the middle where they went on a 2-6 stretch, and they were really searching from a pitching standpoint, especially. Lost a series at Duke, lost a series in Miami, and went from the national seed conversation to potentially maybe not even hosting a regional. But Mike Martin rallied the troops as he so often does, and now here they are winning 40 games again in the Super.
He's won 40 games every single season he has coached.
Is that good?
I mean, if you like to win 40-plus games every year, depends on where your bar is, right? Holton, the right fielder and tomorrow's likely starter for the Seminoles. Fouls that one down the line, 2-2. He'll be followed by DeLuzio and Henderson, 7, 8, and 9. Called strike 3. For more on number 11, let's go down to Kaylee.
Well, Dave, you mentioned that Clemson game, the meeting in the ACC tournament title game that Clemson was able to put up 18 runs on this Florida State ball club. Well, the other half of that is that Florida State was down 18-1. They responded with 12 unanswered runs. Now, while Mike Martin obviously would have loved to win that title, he said it was such a proud moment for him because this young ball club showed him some mental toughness, that they weren't going to roll over and feel sorry for themselves.
And that's why they are where they are right now, leading game 1 of a Super Regional, because this is an offense that will not quit, an offense that is very difficult to pitch to top to bottom. And Clemson, 18-1, you should feel pretty comfortable. I bet you Monty Lee was not that comfortable because it was early in the game when they took that lead, and you're counting down the outs. And deep in a tournament like they were all at from a pitching staff standpoint, Florida State put a scare in them. But I just think it speaks to the culture at Florida State and what Mike Martin has built there there's something about putting on that uniform where you know you're going to play in the postseason.
Deluzio 0 for 2 today. His average has dipped down to 241. Hitting in the 8th spot in this lineup. He has struck out and hit into a double play. Been a tough day at the plate for Deluzio. 2 down. Boy, look at Coach Martin through the years. How about those unis? Come on now.
Those are strong right there. Look at those.
We step it up a little bit as the years go on. His 37 straight regional appearances. 15 times he's been to Omaha. And still breaking down swings. Even saw him yesterday. Out working with middle infielders. Not afraid to make some changes, as we were talking about earlier. You know, he switches up his infield a little bit. Sansone goes over to third. Get Busby, third baseman, going over to first. Talked a little bit about Busby, where he's going to be down the road. Is he a first baseman, third baseman type? That ball is slapped through the left side off the bat of Matt Henderson. That's the 5th hit of the evening now for the Seminoles with 2 down.
The Gators have 2 hits in this game, and the 9-hole hitter for Florida State has 2 hits in this game. So that's where we're at offensively in this ball game, with the production of the Florida State lineup compared to the struggles of the Florida Gator lineup. Two different offenses to this point, that's for sure.
And the lineup flips over now. Taylor Walls, the leadoff man, who doubled his last time up, also picked up an RBI. Taylor almost got one out of here, as a matter of fact, just missed it. Going oppo, about 5 feet shy of a home run. He has 6 long balls this year, hitting .367 now.
You just don't see them offer at too many pitches early in the zone. Early in the count, where they don't make aggressive swings. The whole lineup seems to be either resigned to being patient and letting the pitcher throw a couple, or really locked in on their pitch.
2 strikes now on Walls.
And it'd be one thing if it was just this team, but we see this year in and year out from Florida State consistently. When you talk to Mike Martin Sr., he gives Junior all the credit for the way he instills patience. They work a lot off breaking balls. They talk approach all the time, and it's a lineup that is committed to an approach, not just a few guys in a lineup, but an entire lineup.
There is Senior on your left, Junior on your right.
Pretty good combo through the years, those two.
A lot of baseball right there. And for the second time today, we've seen
it's late
home plate umpire Adam Dowdy.
It's late right
yeah,
there.
And Kevin O'Sullivan has
and he's verbalizing it, but the hitter's saying time. He's not showing time, but he's saying time. But once the pitcher's already come set like that, that's a really tough call for an umpire, because you don't know when he's actually going to kick. And by the time he calls time, Dunning's almost at his release point.
now it's full 3-2.
Just don't see a whole lot of chase in this lineup. Really good take there from Walls to make this count go to full.
Lifted in the air to left. Reyes will make the catch. Seminoles will leave one. Lippett, Reyes, and Guthrie coming up. Gators need a little offense. Boy, East Carolina had their opportunities. Texas Tech says not so fast. And now looks like we might be heading to a Game 3 situation in Lubbock if the Red Raiders can hold on. Winner of that series will take on the winner of the Texas A&M TCU series in game number 1 in Omaha. For the Gators, Deacon Lippett will lead things off here in Gainesville. First game of this Super Regional. Danny Reyes to follow, and then it's the top of the lineup and Dalton Guthrie. What a job by Drew Carlton. Just 2 hits to this point for the Florida Gators. Buddy Reed had a single in the second, and Reyes had a single in the third, and that is it.
We see a good change up there from Carlton. No walks, 2 singles. It continues to work ahead in the count. Couldn't ask for anything more out of this start to this point in the ball game, that's for sure.
Lifted in the air to left. Luke backpedals shy of the track. 1 down. Tonight after the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals in College Station on ESPN, don't miss Sports Center at night. They will have all the highlights from the Super Regionals and the rest of the day in sports. Sports Center at night on ESPN, also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. TCU with a very impressive win last night against the Aggies. Reyes, first pitch, pops it up, and that will get to the seats.
And we talk about these 2 teams starting a lot of young players, freshmen and sophomore all over the field for both rosters. That TCU team is very young, led by what will probably be the national freshman of the year, either him or Seth Beer, Lucan Baker for TCU. 3-run homer that really blew that game open last night. Just a beast.
He's a big boy, Lucan Baker.
And another 2-way guy.
Right.
You know, you get these 2-way guys that have really made such an impact. Last year it was Brendan McKay from the University of Louisville. This year, Lucan Baker as a true freshman to be able to pitch and hit at this level.
Boy, the Gators just having a tough time trying to figure out Drew Carlton, his 3rd strikeout. That one looking 2 down.
Fastball command has just been excellent. As you see him start this 2-seamer off the edge and work it back to the corner. Beautiful job by Raleigh there to stick that pitch. And he just has thrown a number of pitches, especially with 2-strike counts, where Florida can't do anything with them. Now, they haven't competed quite like Kevin O'Sullivan would like and fight a few pitches off. We saw India take a strike 3. We saw Schwartz take a strike 3. There's not a ton of swing and miss from Carlton, but you got to defend the outside part of the plate with 2 strikes.
Dalton Guthrie, the top of the lineup. He is flat out to center field and hit into a double play back in the 3rd inning. Oh, and that one bounced right back up and hit him in the face. Didn't that happen to Peter Alonso in the batting cages last year? I think he might have broke his nose, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
As we see a sinker that Guthrie tops, that ball comes up. I guess you can definitely see it hits the bill of his cap. I guess it skimmed his face on the way up, but it doesn't look like there's too much damage. It looked like, yeah, it caught his cheek or his lip or somewhere.
One and 2 the count to Guthrie. Off the fist. Another 1-2-3 inning for Drew Carlton and the Seminoles. How about 10 straight retired by that right-hander, the sophomore. is dealing here in Game 1 of the Super Regionals in Gainesville. For a second consecutive time, but so far the Seminoles have played very loose. Got outstanding pitching from Drew Carlton and lead this one 3-0. And the Gators just look tight. It is not the same Gator team that we saw throughout the season win 50 ball games.
No, and you got to give Drew Carlton a lot of credit because his execution has been nearly flawless to this point. All right, we got to go back to this photo, Dave. Now, look in the background here. Don't look at the dog pile. Look at Buddy Reed doing a backflip in the background of that picture right there. Is that insane? What in the world? Well, Ozzie Smith.
Out to second. Lippett makes the throw, and Sansone is retired for the first out. And Buddy's some kind of athlete now. Once again, I mean, guy that's just a great athlete, can do a lot of different things.
Do you think that's premeditated, or do you think you're just so full of joy you just go backflip? I mean, because you're the only other person I've seen pull that off.
For me, it's just something that just happens naturally.
Okay.
When you have the skill set that Buddy and I have,
right? Sometimes it just comes out.
It just happens.
Okay.
Buddy might be a step faster, maybe an inch higher vertical.
Yeah, but that's it.
Right.
But that's now. In your prime, you're right at it.
Right. Here is Luke. Jackson, 3-hole hitters, doubled. 1 for 3 today. I mean, what's not to like? I mean, very similar physiques.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of both wear glasses.
Right. See?
Both have some sort of blue on.
We wear our hats very similar.
I think the comparison maybe stops there.
We wear when I'm playing, church league softball, I come out with the same kind of gear.
Do you have Buddy Love on your glove?
No.
Okay.
No. But I come out with TV tape thinking there might be a camera around.
You got some swag now.
I might have been taken 9th round church league softball draft.
Oh, you are.
You can and an 8-round draft.
A lot of similarities.
2-2 now on Luke. Boy, the patience, I think, has just been so frustrating.
There's no chase. There is no. It's very similar to LSU lineup that we've seen a few times this year, who had the least amount of strikeouts in the Southeastern Conference.
From a hitter's perspective, is that hard to kind of get your mind right?
Yeah, I think especially with the quality stuff they've seen tonight. We're talking about 2 guys with first-round talent.
Well, hard not to take that one. And with that hit by pitch, it's time to get another update. Let's check in with the studio. Dane Dunning with 2 1/3 out of the bullpen. 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, and we've seen Dunning very sharp before. It wasn't his sharpest night. Say the same thing about Alex Faedo.
Yeah, neither one of them had great command. We saw a bunch of punch outs from Faedo, but some really big misses, and the same was true from Dunning. Just some big misses, none more so than that last pitch there to Luke that got him chased from this ball game. As we take a look at Kirby Snead.
Kirby Snead making his 100th career appearance, a 10th round pick by Toronto. And this week's draft, his 39th appearance this year, which is 2nd in the country. He has been very tough on left-handed batters. But for Florida State, this is a lineup that features 3, depending on how they fill up their card, 3 or 4 switch hitters. So hard to go match up with these guys. And he'll face one of those switch hitters right here in Cal Raleigh. So 1 out. A runner at first, and that is Jackson Luke, who was hit by a pitch a moment ago. First pitch from Snead in there for a strike.
And an interesting decision here by Kevin O'Sullivan, because Cal Raleigh actually hits about 50 points higher right-handed. Now the sample size is much smaller, But an interesting decision right here.
You try a little action one out.
I don't know if this is the combo to hit and run.
No, don't have to worry about it here as that one hops back to the backstop, and Luke will scoot down to second base.
You see Sully, he's not happy about that. You saw him say, gotta block it. Look at him try to pick it. Just gets lazy. Just flat relies on his hands, and you see that from some catchers that have great hands sometimes. They can get reliant on picking the baseball, and all you got to do is look at Sully to know what he's thinking. Got to block it, he said. The Gators just have a team built on pitching and defense. I have just not executed to this point in this ball game, and that's why they find themselves in a really tough spot now with another run-scoring opportunity for Florida State. And every run, boy, you can feel the pressure in this place build.
Top of the 7th inning, and the Seminoles lead it 3-0. 2-2 now on Raleigh. Sixth in program history with his 100th career appearance. That one just misses. Popped straight back, out of play.
And you never know, a guy like Kirby Snead, who was 100 appearances in 3 seasons here at Florida, gets picked in the 10th round. This is the type of kid that might outplay everybody. You just never know. He might, 20 years from now, he might be coming in out of somebody's bullpen, getting the left-handed hitter out. Has really made a niche for himself here in Gainesville as a left-handed specialist, and there's certainly a place for guys like this in the big leagues. Be interesting to see if he can make that career work.
Kirby Snead in his career has only walked 22 batters, and he walks one here. Everybody from Florida just seems to be a little different today for whatever reason. This is a team that put together 50 wins, and Kevin O'Sullivan's going to run through everybody. Snead to the dugout, and another 2 earned runs or less. 21 strikeouts, 8 walks, 3-1 record overall. His 23rd appearance on the year. And he enters the game with runners at first and second, and only 1 out. He will face a red-hot Dylan Busby. Busby singled his first time up, struck out, and then walked back in the 5th. Jackson Luke, who stands at second, was hit by a pitch, and Cal Raleigh was walked. Guthrie charges, fires, second out of the inning. Runners move up to second and third.
And this is a good matchup right here for Florida. You bring in the side armor with tremendous arm side life to try to tie up a couple big right-handers here in the middle of Florida State's lineup. It looks like we're going to see a change here by Mike Martin to try to combat that right-handed sinker from Rubio.
And we're going to get Donovan Petrie will come in, the freshman out of Arcadia, Florida. Kevin O'Sullivan looking down to his bullpen. So We will see another change on the mound for the Gators. Now, both these coaches, they brought a roster full of guys.
Yeah, they're
Let's
working,
use
aren't they? They are working.
First pitch to True Luck, in there for a strike. True Luck, a 208 hitter on the year. 10 hits, 3 have been doubles, 1 has left the yard. Runners at second, third, there are 2 outs.
You know, it's interesting. In the top of the 7 with 2 outs in second and third, with 2 of the best teams in the country, you got a pitcher on the mound who's got 10 innings, and you got a hitter up to bat who's got 48 at bats. Because of the mix and match that we've seen both of these head coaches go to here in this situation. An awkward combo here in a huge spot in this ball game.
Ground ball out to short. Guthrie makes a good strong throw. Series, Mike Martin with no titles. Can he get one? You know, this is kind of the year when you start thinking about, this is one of those type of years that a team like Florida State, they kind of come out of nowhere. I mean, let's think about last year. How about Virginia?
It's starting to feel that way.
Almost didn't get into the ACC tournament. They start rolling along. They win it all.
Well, yeah, I mean, you think about Oregon State won it as a 3 seed. Fresno State won it as a 4 seed. Virginia won it as a 3 seed last year.
Jonathan India out to third. Sansone makes the throw. Busby with the pick. 1 down. Now, we're a long way from that, but I'm just saying we see this type of thing happen a lot.
Yeah, you get hot at the right time. No doubt about it. And for Florida, they're looking for their offense to try to get hot at the right time because it has been crickets to this point. Now, I will say Peter Alonso has squared it up twice in this ball game. Has nothing to show for it.
Alonso 0 for 2. His first time up, he smoked one out to left. I mean, hit it as hard as you're going to hit it. But it was right at Jackson Luke. Now he's behind 0-2.
Strike 1, strike 2. I mean, we've been seeing it all night long. Florida State continuing to fill the strike zone up and play great defense.
How about the Gators? 1 through 5 hitters today are 0 for 12.
Well, the team's 2 for, so there's not a whole lot going on anywhere. And that's the pitch. And Peter Alonso, fortunately, earns another one right there. But that is the pitch that Carlton has gone to for the put away. The fastball that starts just off the edge and runs back. And the command of that pitch has been nearly flawless all game long. You better believe he's going back to it here. Tries to throw a sinker down and in. Be shocked if we don't see a fastball away here. You see Cal Raleigh pumping up his guy. What a beautiful job he's done behind the plate tonight.
Just did get a piece of it.
Yeah, that's an awkward swing. That's a swing of a hitter who was changed by the previous pitch. So they run a fastball down and in on the previous pitch. Alonso gets his eyes on the inside part of the plate, and on a pitch that really wasn't all that difficult to handle, you see him reach out and lunge for that pitch almost as if it was a foot outside.
Another chopper to the left side. Walls fires. 2 down.
And again, and look where this pitch is. This pitch isn't too far off. Look, that pitch is a strike on the outside corner. You get this big reach with the arms, kind of a collapse with the chest. Credit Florida State for running the ball in there to open up the outside part of the plate as Drew Carlton continues to cruise through this lineup.
That is 12 in a row retired by Drew Carlton. J.J. Schwartz will step in and look at a strike. I mean, and now Drew Carlton can throw what he wants to do.
So many ground balls. We've seen 7 of those 12 have been ground ball outs.
0-2. Seminoles getting a little bit of action up. Nobody throwing too seriously hard in the old just in case with Jim Voiles. Drew Carlton has only pitched 7 innings or more 5 times in his career. That one's up and in. His longest career outing was 8 innings pitched against NC State back in 2015. Noles won that game 2-1. He's at pitch 87 right now, and he hasn't really labored at all.
It's incredible to see the starting pitching that has shown up on the road so far in these super regionals. From Arizona to TCU to UCSB earlier today at Louisville, and now Florida State. Kids going on the road and dominating the home team. It's certainly been the theme of the early going here in the super regionals.
I mean, nobody's been on second base for Florida today. That ball is hammered into the Disney Plaza area, and then one hops over into the construction zone at the O-Dome.
And remember, Drew Carlton comes into this ballgame with more hits than innings pitched. He's getting 91 hits and 84 innings pitched coming into this ballgame. We're seeing the best of Drew Carlton tonight. What a performance it has been to this point.
That ball is hit out to center, and a diving catch by DeLuzio. Getting a little defensive help, and his teammates will wait for him for a little high five coming into the dugout.
We had 2 questions, Dave. Could they pitch and could they defend? Boy, if they answered those questions, Florida State is fired up playing some big-time baseball.
Stephen Wells Jr. grabs a bat. The sophomore out of Key West, Florida. He will hit for Tyler Holton. And we get to see Holton tomorrow on the mound. That one is popped straight back. 2-1 to Wells.
And you can just feel the building on its heels. Drew Carlton and Florida State have just silenced this crowd who came all fired up, ready to see the hometown team roll in game 1. And boy, there is not much energy in this place right now.
Hey, for more coverage of the Division I Baseball Super Regionals and interactive brackets, be sure to go to ncaa.com. Boy, Gator fans with that stressed look. The #1 overall seed in this tournament. Playing uphill right now.
They are, and it hasn't been a great run for #1 national seeds of late. #2 has had more success in recent years. Of course, Louisville lost today as well, so 1 and 2 off to sluggish starts here in these supers.
Bounce straight back again. upstairs. First out. Well, I understand Kaylee Hartung has found a very special guest. Let's check in with her.
Yeah, well, Davey might be one of the most recognizable Florida State fans in this crowd. Jimbo Fisher, the head football coach at Florida State. Coach, you've been there for a couple of Mike Martin's 37 seasons as you head into your 10th in Tallahassee. What kind of a resource has Coach Martin been for you?
Tremendous. He accepted me in the Florida State family the day I got there. I spend a lot of time with the Martin family, Mike and his son Mike Jr., and we talk a lot of philosophical things because I love baseball, but just how to handle kids, situations, coaching, and usually I watch the games from the dugout, and he watches the football games from my office. So I critique him, he critiques me.
You had to settle for the cheap seats tonight. Now, as you two have each had your varying degrees of success, what kind of conversations do you two have about how to handle that when the expectations become as high as they are in Tallahassee?
And that's what we do, because we're great in football, we're great in baseball, great in all kinds of sports there, and there's high expectations and everything, but we do talk about how we deal with it, the off-season, and taking, not just getting the kids to play at the highest level, but how to take pressure off of them and get them to enjoy the game and not worry about the winning part of it. And I think he does as good as anybody in the history of college baseball.
Now, just as you said, you like to sit in the dugout with him sometimes. What kind of football advice does Mike Martin give you?
Oh, Mike loves the game of football. He loves all sports, but I mean, believe it or not, baseball guys, you think of him being such a slow game. He loves the physicality of the game. Our tough guys, he loves. I mean, he's always talking about how physical that guy is, how physical that guy is. And then, of course, having Jameis over here, we had a great relationship going there, and that's one that we have a great tradition of having football, baseball guys.
Well, what about you? What assessments do you have of this ball club, the success they're having late in the season, and what they're doing tonight in Gainesville?
To me, this team is indicative of Mike Martin. How good a coach he and Mike Jr. are, and the pitching coach, and how much they can take young play. This is an extremely young team, and have matured them and not put, even when they've had some downs during the season, stayed with them, and now they got them playing their best baseball at the right time of the year going into this tournament.
Always good to peak at the right time. Well, Coach, we will let you get back to enjoying this game with the Martin family, I might add.
Exactly. They take care of me.
Of course. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thanks, Kaylee. You hit it right on the button. There, you're peaking at the right time with a group of very young players. And I guess that's what coaching's all about, right?
Outstanding analysis right there from Coach Fisher. But I like the part where he said, we talk about how to take the pressure off the kids and how to get them to enjoy the process. Because he's right, both these programs are expected to win at the highest level every single year, and you want the kids to enjoy their time at Florida State, not feel the burden of the expectation of the programs that have been set before them. And I just think that's really interesting that they use each other and bounce stuff off of each other. And I tell you, Jimbo is a baseball fan. When I've been down there to cover Florida State, he was hanging around and talking to me about old SEC stuff from when he was at LSU as an assistant. He's into it.
2-2 on Henderson with 2 down. Out to second base. Lippett, Fields. Good inning for the Gators. Rivera, Reed, Maldonado. 5. Well, the McKeithen Stadium Gator fans trying to get their club rolling. Just 2 hits off of the sophomore right-hander Drew Carlton. Mike Rivera will lead it off. A couple of flyouts to left and to center. Five, 6, and 7. Buddy Reed, Nelson Maldonado.
And here comes the crowd. Boys, a pretty neat scene as they ran off the field there in the top of the 8th. Crowd trying to get this offense fired up.
Lifted high in the air. Luke backpedals shy of the track. 1 down. Now it's time for our Pick You Up moment of the game, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
And it's been a show by the Seminoles, Dave. Drew Carlton came out with his fastball command on full display, and the defense has been behind him. Jackson Luke slides to make a play. We've seen Taylor Walls make a number of plays throughout this ball game, and then Ben DeLuzio with the highlight reel full extension in left center field. it has been some kind of ball game for the Seminoles to this point.
Here's Buddy Reed. He looks at a strike, 0-1. Buddy's been funk offensively. What's in your opinion going on with Buddy in his swing?
Well, you've got a number of different things going on, not the least of which is kind of this run to the draft, which I think is hard to equate with a hitter, as they can tend to press up until that moment. But left-handed, boy, I tell you, the hands are really collapsing as he loads, and it seems like the more he's struggling with his hands collapsing, the more he's raising them in his stance, which to me almost exaggerates the amount that they have to drop. And we've seen a number of those kinds of results where he's under on the backside of the swing, hitting a bunch of balls high and to the left. See, he'll start with those hands up and they really fall.
2 down after the strikeout. 4th strikeout of the game.
And if we were wondering if Drew Carlton still had some gas left in the tank, how about his best fastball of the game? 92 miles an hour, and Buddy Reed helpless there. As Florida State now just 4 outs away from a Game 1 win.
Nelson Maldonado, he swings and misses. 100 pitches and 15 in a row retired by Carlton.
72% strikes. That's quick math, Dave. 72 out of 100. See how I did that?
Tennessee education right there.
I was just guessing, but I think it's close to 72%.
That's why I don't play golf with you, man. That's what you said.
And I tell you, the way he has run through this inning, you got to believe Mike Martin's going to run him out there for one more in the 9th. I don't know why you wouldn't. If you can get Maldonado right here at just 102 pitches, you got to think he's going to give him a chance. Now, some people will say if you're not going to let him finish the 9th, there's no reason to run him out there to start it. So you wonder what his pitch max is. Is it 110? Is it 120?
To right field. Stephen Wells Jr., who just checked into the game, makes the catch. 16 consecutive retired by Drew Carlton. Florida State leading #1 seeded Florida 3-0 as we move to the top of the 9th inning. Seminoles lost all 3 games to the Gators this year. They've lost 5 consecutive going back to last year's Supers. It is tough being a #1 seed. This is the 18th year of this format of the Super Regionals. 11 #1 seeds have reached the College World Series. The only team to win the College World Series as a #1 seed in the initial season of this format, the Hurricanes, back in 1999.
Doesn't make much sense, does it?
It doesn't. Taylor Walls will lead it off. Out to short. Scooped up there by Dalton Guthrie. 1 down. The 2-hole hitter, Sansone, will step in. He has struck out a couple of times. His average has dipped to 369. Came in at 374.
You know, it's easy to go back and say, Alex Faedo, Game 1, he hasn't thrown Game 1 all season. Should you have gone to Dunning when you went to Dunning? But really, none of that matters at 0 runs, right?
Yeah,
so there's so many things that you could talk about that Kevin O'Sullivan did today in this ball game that are potentially set up to be second guess. But at the end of the day, it's been all about Drew Carlton and what he's done to this offense.
There is Faedo, who started this game. That one's lifted out to right. Maldonado on his horse. That drove right over his head. One hops off the wall. And Sansone with a double. Florida's 6th hit of the game. That is the 3rd Seminole double this evening.
Yeah, this kid can really, really hit. His 26th double now in the season, leads this team. Watch him stay on this pitch away. Does a really good job from a contact point standpoint. We talked about Alonso earlier in the game losing his posture and reaching for a ball. He did a really good job of letting that ball get to him and driving it to right field as the Noles look to tack on here. A much important 4th run they're looking for.
Sansone 4th in the country in doubles. Turns it over to Jackson Luke with 1 down. You hit it on the head. I mean, you're talking about a staff, no matter how you slice it up, they've held a good offensive team to 3 runs.
No, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, you can say whatever you want to, but 3 runs is supposed to win you a ball game, especially when you're thinking you're playing against a guy who's, again, giving up more than a hit an inning and comes in with a 4.36 ERA. You figure, hey, if you told Sully you're going to give up 3 tonight, do you think you'll win the game? He probably said yes.
Yeah. 1-1 the count. Florida State came in averaging 7.6 runs a game. That's 15th in the country. Now they still have a chance here to add 1 or more.
Yeah, you've held them to less than half their normal run production, which is what you would expect your pitching staff to do.
But tonight, at least to this point, it's been about Drew Carlton and the defense behind him. Runner goes. Rivera's throw. Right on time. Two down.
John Sansone just has 8 stolen bases on the season. Gets a little greedy here against one of the nation's best catchers. You see the shuffle into the break, and at this point in time, he knows he's in trouble. Rivera delivers a strike right to India. Let's see if the hand gets in there. Well, I think he got him on the helmet there just in time. Accurate throw there from Rivera.
What do you think about trying to swipe one?
You know, you're up 3. You figure, man, if I can get to 3rd with less than 2, now we can score a number of different ways.
Right.
I like the chance. Is John Sansone the guy to do it? I don't know. 8 for 10 on the season. Percentages are good. The numbers obviously aren't, from a bulk standpoint, that much.
But the inning is over, and the Gators have one final chance.
Glove side and the arm side as he tries to finish what he started, trying for a complete game shutout.
His longest career outing, 8 innings against NC State last year. Noles won that game 2-1. He is entering uncharted territory, facing 8-9 in the top of the lineup. Deacon Lippett will start things off for the Gators. Lippett 0 for 2. Now he's behind 1-2. Boy, just off the plates. Well, that's a hard take with 2 strikes.
It is, and we've seen the Gator hitter do it all night long, continuing to take that fastball away.
Slow roller over to first. Busby, 1 down. You lose game 1, it is a tough road to come back and win this series. 21% of the time you come back and win the series. That's it.
Again, something's got to give with some of these numbers this year, because there's so many different numbers that are being challenged here from a statistical standpoint with what we are accustomed to seeing, the way these super regionals play out. And you know, the trends are all being bucked throughout the course of the first couple games of this Super Regional weekend. The national seeds are in trouble as of now.
0-2 the count. Reyes is the last Gator to reach base. That is now 18 in a row retired by Carlton. His 5th strikeout. The last time Florida State shut out Florida in Gainesville was back in 1995. They're trying to pull it off right here in a Super Regional and win game 1. Dalton Guthrie steps in.
Strike one. I mean, we've seen it all night. Strike one, strike one. Every single hitter, it feels like Drew Carlton is just pumped in strike one.
A 114 pitches. Oh, and 2 count. Out to second base. Henderson fires, and the Noles have done it. They've captured game 1 on the road.